It's Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and other comics from all over. We ended up in Japan because we wanted to see the nutbag Marie Kondo. Her name should be Emki Kondo. There's nothing left. The Talk Funny podcast from NagoyaRadio.com and Nagoya Comedy. Here's Mark Bailey.
We're back with another edition of Talk Funny. I'm Mark Bailey. Mike Miller's here again.
Hi.
Got kind of a concise version here. I was mentioning on a prior podcast that my radio job paid for my house, basically, pretty much. It was 10 years. That's actually pretty good. So it was pretty good pay. And then foreigners, and have you ever noticed, Mike, that foreigners, some of them have egos, apparently?
What? Never. Mark, come on.
Here's what I think about people that have egos. They love to talk about themselves. Here's what I think about those people. No, but that's an Adam Carolla impression, People that wind on and on and on, and they never have a point. I hate people like that, as Adam Carolla says. Yeah. What was my point? So I'll meet people.
The point was the 405. It's overcrowded.
It's a passive-aggressive kind of thing that people kind of do it. They do it to kind of take away what you did. So, Mike, you were able to get this job that you always wanted this job, and but if I had applied for that job, I could have gotten that.
That's right.
And so they all know I was on Radio I and stuff, and they'll say, yeah, when they were hiring back then, I applied for the job that you did, but they didn't pay enough. And I said, well, then that's not my job. That's not the job that I applied for. Paid pretty well. And they said, no, they only would pay me something like 5,000 yen an hour or something. And I said, oh, okay, you were on the non-DJ side. There were two sides over there. There were two studios. One studio was you had 5 people who would run and get the CDs, handle the faxes, and handle the board, and all you do is talk when they pointed. I said, you applied for that job. Did you have any experience doing that? No. So so you basically just say it. You failed the audition. Right? Yeah, but I didn't want it anyway. Yeah, well, then why did you apply for it? They just didn't pay enough. I said, actually, they don't tell you at the audition what they're paying you. They pick whether they want you or not, and then you negotiate. I said, but anyway, I was in the other one. Well, I had this one assistant. We called her the resistant because she never helped me, and she didn't know anything about radio, and she hated music, and she didn't speak English. So I'm doing all my jokes and stuff in the morning drive, and I'd say, give me the Beatles' White Album. She's like, we don't have that. We're a radio station. We play classic rock. We have it. I played it last week. Well, we don't have that. I never heard of that. Have you ever heard of the Beatles? Yeah, I've heard of them. Oh, good. I said, I did everything.
No one's heard of the Beatles in Japan. You knew that, right?
I said, I ran the board. I did everything myself. It's basically U.S. style, where you do everything because they don't want to pay you much, But in Japan, they didn't have anybody that did that, so they paid me a lot because I was doing 5 people's jobs. And I was even so good at being an engineer, I came in one day. There's a Homer Simpson engineer crew standing there, the guys who are supposed to keep us on the air. And there's a microwave transmitter device that sends the microwave to the transmitter out in the field. I think it's out near Toyohashi or something. And without that working, we can't get the signal. So I came in and they said, well, I don't think you're going to get paid today because we're not on the air. And it's going to take us till 2 to fix it. I said, what's the problem? They said, well, we can't get the microwave signal to the transmitter with this board. The mixer board, the little small mixer board is fried out. So I said, yeah, so in the studio, if I use that mixer board, they said, yeah, it won't transmit. I had an old Russian, it looks like you can't see this, but we're using a
Soviet era?
Small mixer that spies used to use, and I got it in New York for like $12 because nobody, but I used it.
Soviet mixer board.
It's a mixer. And so we're using a mixer here. This is just a silver little box with about 4 inputs and an output. I said, let me try this. I looked it up. It's basically made out of tank material. It is sturdy. And it's been working, it's, 60 years old, but it's sturdy. So I hooked it. I said, see if this will hook in here. I put the microphone here and put the board in here. And so I'm going to hook this up to the board. I can use my board as normal. And instead, it's just an extra step. We put that here. And the engineer is like shaking his head and go, well, you're not an engineer. I don't even think that's going to work. And I said, it's a signal. It's transmitting the signal. It's connecting the signal. All you need is a cord. That's all you need. He said, but yeah, but the box that we usually use doesn't work. Yeah, this is another box. This will work. This has been through like World War II. This has been through Afghanistan.
It was like in Stalingrad.
When Hitler came, they were using this, to transmit.
The shell hit.
It's made out of tank. If you look at the bottom, it looks like a tank. Anyway, the funny thing is, so I got it connected. And I wasn't trying to show off. I just want to get paid. I came in. And I needed to get paid. And so the engineers were like, well, who knew? Like a guy who's been in radio for 30 years is going to find a way to get on the air. I said, we can do it by phone if I have to.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting paid.
Exactly.
So afterwards, the funny thing is, 2 weeks later, it broke. I don't know. So sturdy, but it got me on, My point was, I did everything for that station.
Yeah.
And the guys they were hiring was just filler because they weren't hiring for morning radio. And because I walked in, I auditioned, and I got the part. I got the job. They said, you're gonna do this. And how many days can you do it? We want you every day. And I got it. All right. So when I hear people say, yeah, well, I applied for that, I decided not to take it because it didn't pay enough. And I said, oh, really? Because I got hired because of my experience in New York, and it's Zip FM. Did you apply for the Zip FM job? Because I didn't see you there. Did you apply for the job when I did it in New York? Did you apply for the job when I was at FMEA? Did you apply for the job when I was a speechwriter? Because I got that Radio I job because of all those jobs. See? So you're just trying. Why do you have to take away from what someone else did?
I don't know what it is. Some people just they just have to. They're super competitive, I guess, and they feel like if they admit that you had some success, then it means that they're unsuccessful in some way. To me, it's very petty and very, I don't know. What would you say? It's just petty.
Well, my view is, I didn't hurt you. That happens to be my expertise. That's the thing I'm good at. I'm sorry, but I'm not good at sports.
Yeah.
I'm not going to beat you in a race. I can't.
Right.
I couldn't play baseball.
Right.
You beat me every time.
Right.
Everybody's got a thing.
Right.
That's my thing. Don't take it personally.
Right.
I did radio in the States. I do radio here.
Yeah.
I'm a radio guy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I do, right?
You get used to being, well, I'm not a teacher, but I teach in Japan. When I used to meet teachers who actually taught in the U.S., I would think, wow, he's a real teacher. Yeah, Mark, you've taught for 20 years. Yeah, but I'm not really teaching.
Yeah.
I'm babysitting. that guy's actually an educator in the States. That's his thing. So I said, if it makes you feel better, I'll race you. You'll win. Don't take it personally. I have to be good at something.
Should we do a shot contest? What do we...
Everybody has to be good at something, right?
Of course.
And so it's like the old Yiddish joke where the guy comes home early and finds, his wife is some guy in the house, and she tells him to go hide in the shower, and that's the first place her husband looks, and he opens it up, and he doesn't know the guy, and he goes, what are you doing here? And the guy goes, everybody's got to be somewhere. Another Yiddish joke is guy is sure his wife is cheating, so he pretends to go to work, then he rushes back through the bushes, rushes through the house, and sees his neighbor putting his pants on going out the back door, and he goes, why are you putting your pants on going out the back door? And the neighbor goes, why are you early? I think
that's
maybe
awesome.
That'll be it, and we got some other topics for other times, and we both got appointments we got to run. It's been Mark Bailey and Mike Miller on Talk Funny. Thanks for listening, guys.